Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Armadillo Build-A-Figure Wave, Gamerverse, Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews as always. My name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we have came to the last figure I need to open from this Marvel Legends Armadillo Build-A-Figure Wave. And no, it's not a live action figure. No, it's not a comic figure. It is a Gamerverse figure that it says on the top of the box. Now, you know me, I am not much of a gamer unless it's a casually playing Warzone with my friends. So I have not played the Spider-Man Miles Morales video game. However, I do know who Miles Morales is. And whether or not this is Gamerverse, this is still a great representation of Miles on a brand new pinless body, completely unique sculpt for Miles. It's the same sculpt that we've already got on that translucent version. Interchangeable hands, effect pieces, interchangeable heads, and still packed in with a Build-A-Figure piece. This is how you should do Marvel Legends. So credit where credit's due. This guy already looks great, and the character design is still sort of so stylized in a way where I think he can fit in a comic shelf or even fudge him into the background of a live action display because it's Miles Morales. He looks beautiful. So yeah, looks great. Looking forward to opening up. There he is on the side of the box from the game, of course. That same image on the back of the box. We get a write-up that reads, Miles Morales. When a fierce power struggle threatens to destroy his new home, Miles Morales realizes that with great power, there must also come great responsibility. That's the famous quote we know, just twisted a little bit, stumbled over my words there. And then as always, you get a list of all the figures in this wave you need to build the Armadillo Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Miles Morales. So as I said, it is a Gamerverse figure, but still a nice one at that. Let's get it open. So here's Miles out of the box with all of those accessories, including the last Build-A-Figure piece we need to build Armadillo, my last Build-A-Figure of 2021. So of course, we will be reviewing him next. I'll put that to the side right now. It's all about Miles Morales. And as you can see, all of those accessories in front of him, that's 4 completely different sets of hands, which we'll take a closer look at in a second. And of course, that unmasked head as well. So let's not waste any time. Let's get to it. So zooming in, you can see those sculpted web lines so clearly and so crisp, and they are painted red and in such detail, like that none of them miss a single line, which is really nice. That spider logo on the chest is beautiful. You get the red sort of accent, that V that goes over to the shoulders across the butterfly joints. Spin it around to the back, you get another spider, and then you get those web lines again that continue up the neck and onto the head. Like, this mask is so well done. Like, those sculpted web lines make such a difference, and his actual suit, like the black suit, is actually textured as well. So it's not just a flat plastic. It's got a nice texture to it when you feel it. And yeah, those web lines are just painted so cleanly. Those iconic Spider-Man eyes, of course. And yeah, that is just really nice. It genuinely makes such a difference to the quality of the figure when these details are sculpted on rather than painted. Just brings out all those details. And yeah, this is so nice. So as I said, I haven't even played the game, but this figure is beautiful and a great representation of Miles. Yeah, this is really nice. So we do get an unmasked head. So before we look at the rest of the figure, let's swap that out. So I don't know much details about the game, so I'm not sure if the likeness of Miles in the game is based off an actual actor. I'm not sure, but Hasbro have still used the 3D digital face printing tech on this figure, and it really does make a difference. It looks like that could be an actual person. That's really nice. So again, I like those options straight away, because obviously Spider-Man is such an important character, but so is the person behind the mask, whether it's Peter Parker or Miles Morales. So it's nice to have those display options, so you can have both the mask or the unmask. Really does make a difference. I love those display options. So yeah, that again, even like posing him like that looks really good. And again, the light just hits that just right and it just shines. It's just beautiful. And again, there's more sculpted detail on the figure as well that ain't even painted. Like, you can see on the arms there, some nice sculpted lines here on the back, lower back. Obviously there's a waist cutter there as well. And then on the legs, they're not painted, but you can see like sculpted detail on here, and the texture of the plastic is a little bit different as well. Like, you get this nice textured plastic, and then you get the sort of this sort of piping, if you will, on the figure, but it's all sculpted on there. Looks really nice, going all the way down to the feet, and yeah, just looks really nice. Again, in person, really does make a difference. You can see those differences. It's subtle, but it's so nice. yeah, really like this a lot. As mentioned at the top, this figure comes with 4 different sets of hands, and they are the 4 perfect sets of hands that should come as standard with every Spider-Man figure. They really do make a difference to display. So the first set of hands is, of course, the classic web sweeping hands, where they are done very nicely with a bit of red on there to contrast with the black, but they are nicely done, and there's a joint obviously in all of the wrist as well. But yeah, so we've got the web sweeping hands first. Then of course you get a set of fisted hands for a more neutral pose, or of course for punching bad guys. And then we get a set of hands that are usually missing with Spider-Man figures, but this time round they're not. They are wall crawling hands. So of course they're just open palm hands that you could use for maybe grabbing an opponent's punch or something like that. But they are of course for posing Spider-Man climbing up walls and on buildings. Like, wall crawling hands make such a difference to the display, depending if you're taking pictures or whatnot. But yeah, wall crawling hands make such a difference, and they're included with Miles. And then if that wasn't enough, we also get a set of hands that display Miles' ability, which is unique for Miles Morales. This isn't something that Peter has. It's his sort of like shocker ability. I think it's called his Venom or something like that. It's like a Venom attack. Not quite sure. Someone in the comments can tell me. But it is unique for Miles, and these hands are molded in like a translucent yellow plastic. And what's really good is they've got these sort of lightning effects coming off, and it really does bring the character to life for a pose. I'm sure he uses these in the game a lot, which is why they're on the figure. But obviously he has these in the comics as well. And yeah, I think it's his Venom or his Shock or something like that. It must be right. But yeah, again, that little bit of trailing off electric plastic that comes off the hand really does make a difference. It looks nice. Again, I love when you can get effect pieces that you can display with a figure that make the figure a little bit more lively, a little bit more interesting to look at, a little bit more dynamic on the shelf. And yeah, this is beautiful. So not only do we get 3 sets of normal Spider-Man hands in multiple options, we also get a set of hands to display one of his unique abilities. So bravo, these look great. Now, no one comes to this channel to see how to pose and articulate action figures, but I still want to show off with Miles here because it is the cherry on top. Because this is a brand new, completely pinless body. Look, there's no pins there in the knees, and there's no pins up here on the arms either. So it's a beautiful, seamless, pinless body with a great aesthetic. So not only is it that, it also still has a great range of motion, which any Spider-Man character should have. So we've got nice deep butterfly joints that go all the way, and you can literally cross his arms. So that's really nice. They even come out at the back as well, so you can get him into some sort of dropping poses, flying and whatnot. Like, look at that. The hands basically go all the way around the back. So if this guy was in a straitjacket, he's getting out, no problems at all. So lots of range there. Obviously go all the way up to 90, no issues at all. There's a swivel up there at the bicep, and then a beautiful double joint on the elbow. Like, there you go. Look at that. That crunches in so tight. Perfect double joint. That is just what we want. That is the purpose of double jointed elbows. The head is on a nice dumbbell as well, so you can get him looking straight. So when he's swinging through the air, you can also get him looking down pretty good, looking up pretty good. Bit of tilt on there as well, like crazy tilt on there. So yeah, lots of range there. So nice butterfly joint, nice range on the elbows. There's a hinge obviously in all of the hands as well. There's also a really deep ab crunch, which is really good, forward and back, which again helps for flying poses, if it's falling out of the sky or whatever, for swinging. So yeah, great deep ab crunch. There's a swivel there at the waist as well, which is really good. You can literally go all the way around. Swivel at the top of the thigh, double jointed knees, and look at that. He can kick his own back all day long, just like the elbows. That is perfect. The full range of double jointed knees. No boot cut or anything, so he's not wearing boots, but a great ankle pivot and rocket, of course. Legs can go out like really good. Like, look at that. Miles can nearly do the splits, as all Spider-Man characters should be able to. Leg can go up pretty high. He can do a big boot. Not back so much, but still more than normal. And yeah, just a great range overall. Honestly, this has all the articulation. This is like some of the best articulation from Marvel Legend. This is like import level articulation on a £25 Marvel Legend action figure. But not just articulation, this is import level quality, accessory, and we still get a Build-A-Figure piece packed in this box. Honestly, this is a beautiful release. So let's do a quick Miles Morales comparison with the previous version of Miles that we got with Marvel Legends. So first things first, I thought these two would be the same size, but it does appear like the Gamerverse is a taller version of Miles. So if I get the tape measure out, you can see that the Gamerverse version is just under 6.5 inches tall, which is pretty good compared to the smaller Marvel Legends, which is about 5.5 inches. So there's a good inch there in difference. I know the Marvel Legends one previously portrayed a much younger version of Miles Morales from the Ultimate Comics, of course. Obviously that got turned into the 616 eventually. He found his way in there, but this is definitely a younger version of Miles. I've not played the game. Again, let me know in the comments. I'm assuming it's a more adolescent version of Miles anyway, because these two, as I said, different age brackets, but different height, but still pretty good. And also completely different in quality. So not only is this new one pinless, great range of articulation, butterfly joints, all of that. This guy, no butterfly joints, pins in the arms and legs. It is a good few years old now, of course, as well. But you can see how the designs are very similar. You can see how the previous Marvel Legends Miles Morales has got his web lines and spider just painted on it. And the paint lines are pretty clean, to be fair, for the figure. But again, they're just painted. They're very flat on him, and the plastic is pretty shiny. Compared to the new Miles Morales, where his web lines are actually sculpted on there with that nicely sculpted spider. It's not as shiny. The red's just a little bit more subtle, like a blood red, if you will. And yeah, it just makes such a difference to the quality of the figure. If you told me this was a live action Miles Morales figure, I would believe you. That's how good it is. So there you go. Paint, sculpt, really does make a difference. The new head does fit on the peg, but like super loose. Like, look at that. This guy's Exorcist style. And it also means you lose the neck. So I don't think this head works on this body. The pegs are not the right size, but you can make it work if you want to just get a bit of blue tack in there. But this Miles did come with its own comic head anyway, so you probably wouldn't want to. But for anyone out there, for our next comparison, here we have the Gamerverse Miles Morales compared to the Gamerverse PS4 Spider-Man. Now, this figure is getting harder and harder to find, and the price is just going up and up on the aftermarket. So if you've got one, keep hold. This is a very nice figure, but comparing the two, as I was talking about with the two Miles Moraleses, the previous Marvel Legend, it's all painted. Like, it's painted pretty clean with the web lines, the white spider. Like, it's a very nice figure, but compared to the sculpted detail and the realism on this other one, they do look like they're from two different worlds rather than the same world. I guess you could say this is PS4 and this is PS5, but still, that's just stupid. But yeah, they look like they're from different worlds. This Miles definitely looks live action compared to a comic version of this, even though it's game. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's hard to see these two blurring into the same world. I just think aesthetically they're a little bit different. Obviously, this Spider-Man as well has the pins. It's on an older body. Still a great figure, I think, for a spider. Definitely one you can put in a Spider-Verse. But yeah, as a Gamerverse, if these two end up being in the same game, I don't think these two fit together very well. And this spider's pretty loose. And to test my theory that this Miles Morales could fit into a live action display, maybe sneak in the background of an MCU display, here we have two of the Spider-Man figures from Spider-Man No Way Home that came in this Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave. And I genuinely think aesthetically that this Miles does fit into a live action display. Now, Miles is a little bit taller than Peter, which I don't think is comic accurate, but just on the figure design and the way it's got the sculpted detail and just the way it looks, if you told me this was Miles Morales figure from his secret cameo in No Way Home, I would have believed you, because yeah, I think these fit together nicely. So yeah, this Miles Morales can fit in multiple spots in your display, not just Gamerverse. Here we have the Gamerverse Miles Morales compared to the retro Peter Parker and the recent Carnage, which has got all the nice sculpted detail on there. So I genuinely think that this Carnage can fit with this Miles pretty well, because they've got the same sort of levels of sculpt and design. And if you bring in sort of a comic Venom, you can see how much flatter he looks. If that white logo was like sculpted on there, maybe a different paint job, they'd fit better. But there you go. Height-wise, that's how they look. Here we have Miles compared to the two comic figures that came in this Armadillo Build-A-Figure wave with Shriek and Morlun. And then last but of course not least, here we have Miles Morales compared to Captain Britain and Worthy. Hellfire Hank. Final thoughts on this Gamerverse Miles Morales action figure. Now, obviously, as I keep saying, I don't even own a PS5. I've never played the game for Miles Morales, but that doesn't take away from the figure, because this is still clearly a great Marvel legend. This is Miles Morales in his classic, iconic uniform. Would it be classic at this point? I guess it is, with the red and the black, nicely sculpted, nice pinless body as well, with a great range. Definitely up there with the best articulation for any Spider-Man Marvel legend. It comes with the right set of hands, the right accessories, not just the Spider-Man hands. We get a nice effect piece and an unmasked head, and there was still room in the box for a Build-A-Figure. This is how Marvel Legends should be. So this is definitely one of those figures that people are going to grab, and it's going to get harder and harder to get on the aftermarket, just like the original PS4 Spider-Man. So don't sleep on this figure if you're on the fence. As I said, it will fit in a comic display, sneak it in the back of a live action, and of course it's a Gamerverse figure. So if you're into that stuff, you'll like this. But you let me know what you think think in the comments below. And where are you going to put this guy on your shelf? Is he good enough for a comic display, MCU display? Even though he's not in the MCU yet, live action, let me know. What if Miles Morales was in the MCU? Or put him in the Into the Spider-Verse display. Always here, curious to hear your thoughts, let me know. And as always, if you like Marvel Legends reviews, check out the videos tab, find the playlist, but most importantly, please, hit that subscribe button, much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. I'm on Instagram, it's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews, because I'm Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.